Alright, this document here, if you notice, states that I was sentenced to serve 180 days in Elkhart County Jail for a contempt charge. Contempt charges violate the due process of the United States Constitution, specifically 5th and the 14th Amendment. The second document here is ordering my release, not even 5 weeks later. I filed appeals, wrote the governor's office. The following documents right here are the actual transcripts, what led up to the judge holding me in contempt, putting me in jail, and him violating his oath of office. The reason I'm making this video is to show people that if you know your rights, if you assert your rights, yeah, you might go to jail, but eventually you will prevail. At the bottom of this in the video, there's going to be a link. Hayes at L versus Wicks at L. It's a 42 United States Code Section 1983 federal lawsuit that my wife and I filed on this judge for him and the other judge in this case acting as a lawyer for the plaintiff. First source, that is, are both in violation of their oath of office, and I want to show people all the way through all the motions it takes, what it takes to beat one of these frivolous, unconstitutional charges when the state tries to put one on you. This is going to be a pretty lengthy video. The interview where Investigator comes talk to me is about 50 minutes altogether, so it's going to take a couple parts, but like on this one, the discovery's here with it, and on the next one I'll have the motion to dismiss, and it'll be a step-by-step, play-by-play, show you exactly how everything went down and what you need to do to assert your rights, and what's now becoming these kangaroo courtrooms in America for the most part. There is some still rule of law judges that will honor their oath of office, however they're far and few between, and you'll be lucky to ever meet one in your life. So you're probably going to need to know some of the information that's contained in this. Pay attention. At some point in your life it's going to come in handy, and you're going to need to use it. So it'll be on YouTube whenever you need to reference it. This is legal information, not legal advice.
Investigator Gizzy, Mr. Hayes.
Hey, Mr. Hayes, how are you, sir? Remember me?
Yeah, I do remember you. I gave you your ID of course when I was illegally arrested.
Well, okay. Look, here's why I'm here. You know that the judge filed a letter with the prosecutor's office?
Yeah, I filed.
And I'm not an attorney, okay? I'm just an investigator that works there. And you filed an injunction, I think, about that? Okay. Here's what it's all about. Obviously, they're looking into possibly charging you.
All right, well, at this time, I'd like you to remind them Article 4, Section 22 of Indiana Constitution strictly prohibits the restriction on the practice of justice in courts, the regulation of the practice in courts. That IC code, like I put in my injunctive order, is a direct violation of Indiana Constitution. One of the reasons why I'm suing Judge Wicks, and I will be filing another night. I served him in 1983 that day in court,
right?
And yes, he has been trying to put me in jail since January 3rd. April, I know that you probably don't know about it. He's been wanting to put me in jail. He had me escorted out of courtroom jail.
That was the first.
That was the first time.
And then you
when
came back.
Judge Wicks, also in direct violation of Article 7, Indiana Constitution Section 11, strictly prohibits judges and elected officials from the practice of law, that he's violating my wife's rights for his own personal gain and profit, as he is still a district court sitting judge, and he is an elected official engaged in the practice of law for profit. And he's representing legal fiction. I don't know, you're not an attorney, so
I'm not.
You
know this stuff a lot better than I do, I'll be honest with you.
I mean, I've investigated it. I mean, I've been studying the law for 10 years. I was actually set to take the bar exam in February.
Are you really?
Yeah. I've already called the Board of Electors, and then I was going to take it in July, but it was too late when I called it because I got a case law, so I don't have to have a law degree. It's
shock word versus
board of examiners. Oh, I can't remember the name now. But anyways, it's a case. They can't deny me the right. The right to practice law is that of common right. Sims versus Amherst, 1925, strictly prohibits the licensing. And I mean, it's in Indiana Constitution, Article 4, Section 22. I wish I got my Constitution. I've already had it standing right now. As they called me down here, I was in the middle of writing Grodnick up on a judicial Judicial Commission.
Okay.
Yeah, on tenure, I'm writing him up for the practice of law as he's violating his oath of office, as he's engaged in the practice of law. I got his bar number. I just got a copy of this so that I can send that with the complaint.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
right.
I mean, they think it's a joke that they have an oath. What did I do to get held in contempt of court? You were there. What court order did I violate?
Well, wait a minute. Before we get into this any further, I'll sit here all day.
I'm just.
No, I know what you're saying.
I really don't know what court order I violated. And I specifically asked him, he's like, do you have anything to say before I pronounce judgment? I said, pronounce judgment for what? He never made no clear statement as to what I was being held in contempt for, other than the fact it's retaliatory for the fact that I sued him in a 1983 civil complaint.
Well, I think he told you, if I recall, I ordered the transcript, but he said something about you can't be up here, you can't practice law because you're not a licensed attorney, and told you to go back, and you didn't follow his order.
And I don't have to follow an order that's illegal. The government cannot issue an order that strictly
I understand that.
stomps on a constitutional right.
And I don't know how you appeal. You appeal that decision to...
I probably didn't appeal it the right way. I did file it's an emergency appeal with an injunctive order to the Indiana Supreme Court, and I've also filed another injunctive order that being the fact that I just got to jail, I had to wait for money, I got to beg and borrow to try to get a stamp and envelope. My hands pretty much get tied when I come to jail. I don't have paper, don't have pen. I just got my paper and pen today. Luckily, somebody let me use some, and I got the notice of appeal wrote up, sent it home to my wife. She typed it, sent it to Indiana Appeals Court, and then I hand wrote one to Northern District of Indiana, because last time they violated my rights, I wrote them, and it specifically states, in, I don't know if it's Amherst or what I read it in, but anytime state trial courts violate your rights, you have the right to appeal to a federal court, a higher court, and ask them to intervene, and, that's what I've done. What part of the Constitution, I know you know the Constitution.
Not as well as you do.
What part of the Constitution states that a judge, for one, he prosecuted me. He brought charges against me as a sitting judge. Now, he's the one that brought the contempt charge against me. Now, I know what the IC code says, 34 or whatever it is. I know I have the IC code already, and I've read it thoroughly, but it's unconstitutional. What judge can bring charges against somebody, prosecute them, then as the same sitting judge, try them, convict them, and sentence them? Does that sound like American justice to you?
Well, unless there's exceptions for...
There is no exceptions to the Constitution.
Well, for a contempt charge, that was what I'm saying.
The Constitution has... The only law of this land is the Constitution. I don't know if you've ever...
Well, it's the rules of the court, though.
Right, and the rules of the court cannot be in direct violation of the Constitution if they are null and void.
It's almost like a catch-22. I know what you're saying. I follow you.
Right, but I know my rights. They can do that, and what he did, I don't know if you know this, but if you go in any courtroom, you're going to see that globe, that anchor, and that bird. I don't know if you know why courts are members of the United States Marines or not. And like I stated in court, I'm not under his jurisdiction. You have to give, like say you bring a suit against me, certain facts, circumstances, and incidents that you put in your petition, or that the state puts in a petition, gives the court jurisdiction. He can't just, excuse my English, pull jurisdiction out of his ass. That's called admiralty jurisdiction. He thinks he's the captain of the ship, which that courtroom is designed to look like. You're not the captain over me, a natural person. I mean, I got my birth certificate with me. I didn't even volunteer to be a slave. I'm an administrator. This person on here, you know, that's actually a person on this piece of paper. It's a person on my birth certificate that when they put my name in all capitals, that's a legal phrase. You can look it up. Capitis diamantis maximus. Deprivation of rights from the states. I specifically filed my birth certificate not as that person, as the administrator of that person. You know?
Well, look, you're getting into a lot deeper subject than what I'm here for, okay? Let me just explain to you why I'm here. Again, it's concerning the letter that was written to our office. Curtis Hill, who's the prosecutor, said, well, here's a letter, we have to address this issue. It's looking as to whether or not you're practicing law without a license, okay?
No,
wait a minute. Let me finish, please, okay?
Did you bring that IC code with you?
I think I do have it, but before I talk to you, you know it's your right not to talk to me.
Yeah,
okay?
I the Fifth Amendment. I know it real well, but
I know you do, but I have to read it to you. You know that too, okay? And if you want to sit there and talk,
1966.
okay, I'm willing to listen to you, but
I
you
did
gotta
not practice law.
Okay, well, I'm willing to listen to you, but I need you to sign off on this if you want to talk to me about it.
I just want you to read this IC code. It's 3343-2-1. It defines what the practice of law is. I have no business. I do this. I do not do this as a third party for profit. You might want to look that IC code up and read it.
Do you have it with you? Or you
I have the IC code with me.
Okay.
I don't have what it reads, but I have the IC code with me. And if Curtis Hill authorized the prosecution, let him know that I will sue him, and he is not immune under the 11th Amendment, as he's acting outside of his official capacities, and he's violating his oath of office. He's sworn to uphold federal and state constitution.
Okay.
As an elected official, he is elected.
Okay, let me read this to you. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you at county expense before any questioning if you wish. If you give up your right to remain silent, later wish to stop answering questions, no further questions will be asked. You understand each of these rights I've explained to you?
So, I mean, are you guys bringing charges against me?
I don't. That's what I'm... Having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also had to file a written demand for a jury trial if you try to charge me with this class.
I understand.
I know it's a class B misdemeanor.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I've already investigated it myself. I just asked that you look that IC code up right here.
Yeah, let me
And
see
you
that.
see exactly what the practice, the IC code's right there.
Well, I thought I brought it too.
3340-43-2-1. That defines the practice of law under that unconstitutional IC code. And is there any way I'd like to see the discovery? If you have transcripts from them hearings, I would like a copy of that. Well, I'll file a discovery.
This is the transcript of that first hearing.
From January 3rd.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, can I get copies of that? Is that going to be evidence against me? I would assume.
Yeah, if the case gets filed, yeah, then you're entitled to discovery.
I won't file this case.
3343-2-1, engaging in practice by a person not admitted. Section 1, a person who, 1, professes to be a practicing attorney, 2, conducts the trial of a case in a court in Indiana, or 3, engages in the business of practicing lawyer without first having been admitted as an attorney by the Supreme Court, commits Class B misdemeanor. That's that code.
Right, yeah. I've read it.
Okay. So why is it you feel that you're not in violation of